Is it right for our brothers and sisters to be innocently slaughtered and gunned down in the streets by the police? We are being purged in the streets. I understand that we need to be protected, and I understand that victims need to be defended. I understand that without law enforcement on these streets, there would be total chaos. But honestly, what's going on right now is beyond enough. They are hiding behind their uniforms and the law, and it has to come to an end. Black lives matter. But honestly, all lives matter. It's time for us to peacefully raise up and challenge this mess. Because we are powerful. Together we are powerful. And we have a voice that needs to be heard. When something happens and someone loses their life, the nation is lit with an outpouring of outrage, despair, and grief. But it's not enough. Because the wounds are so deep, it won't change a thing. Because there's a law in every country in the land that allows the perpetrators to hide behind a shield and come out at us with a hail of bullets and then retreat again behind the law. The law of the land is the Constitution. The 14th Amendment of that Constitution says we're supposed to have equal protection from the law. The 10th Amendment gives the powers over to the state and the people, and we are those people. The police powers are governed by the state. And the state is supposed to regulate the inhabitants that live within its borders for the betterment of all society, for the safety, health, and morals and general welfare of everyone. In the 1871 Civil Rights Act, Statute 1983, Title 42 of the US Code forms the legal basis that most people use to bring police conduct claims to the federal law. With most of the excessive force claims are the officer's conduct, must have clearly violated an established constitutional or statutory right. It has to be proved that the officer actually prevented an individual from engaging in acts that are legally protected. There has to be an infringement of victims' constitutional rights, and the evidence has to be evidence of injury or damage. Otherwise, the police defence attorneys are going to claim qualified immunity. Qualified immunity basically prevents the fear of legal prosecution by the police, which would inhibit the policeman from enforcing the law. Therefore, if an officer is in uniform, he is protected. So basically, folks, this is a law game where the burden of proof is always going to be on the victim. And even though we see daily horror stories, graphic, excessive, fatal horror stories in the media, they have a bounce back law, and that protects them. If an officer actually stands by and witnesses this brutality and does nothing, a case can be brought against them for failure to intervene. But police officers, their duty is to protect individuals, constitution, and to protect individuals against constitutional violations by their fellow officers. And what's crazy about all of this is that the complaints about the police are looked into by the police. So there needs to be a separate organisation, a neutral organisation that keeps and collects data on the police. It collects data about their behaviour, their performance, and an officer should be flagged if his name comes up too many times. And that way they can be offered help, anger management, stress control, because they are human and this is a very stressful job. Just as there are good and bad people, there are good and bad cops. All cops are not made equal. So I'm urging you to find the law in your land and challenge it. You need to be organised and peaceful, but you do need to move, because our people are being hunted down in the streets like dogs. We are being purged in the streets, and it will never stop until we, the oppressed, stop it. We can all get caught up in the why the whether, the unfair of it all, but it's not going to help the situation. Because I suggest that if you get yourselves in groups with somebody who can write, someone who can speak up for you, someone who knows how to research the law, someone knows who will do your admin for you, someone who can provide funds and manpower and peacefully work together, you can unravel and challenge the law at the grassroots, the city roots, the international and even the national level. It actually can be done. The really, 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 really sad thing is that our emotion and grief, although it hurts and it's painful, it's not enough, but our action is. Regulators! Mount up! In God we trust. Thank you.